With that beautiful song done by Westlife, I Have a Dream, we welcome you to today's edition of the program is Stitching Time, coming to you from Sunrise FM 96.1, and we appreciate you for staying tuned to your darling station. My name is Precious Chubekezie, and today on the program we are going to be focusing on an issue that affects majority of the children, and oftentimes it goes unnoticed except when you pay attention. That's actually why it is very, very important for us to learn to pay attention to our children. When you pay attention, you are going to discover a whole lot of things and also find a way to help them. When you pay attention to them, if they are having any issue, it will be easily for you to identify it and find a solution early enough. If you pay attention, especially as regards their education, you know when your children are doing well and when they are not. So paying attention to children, to our children, can never be overemphasized. So there is need for us to start today, because the stitching time saves 9. So welcome once again to this edition of A Stitching Time, as we focus on addressing poor sight in children. Addressing poor sight in children's academic performance. Because sometimes when the children are affected in the eye, it might be affecting them one way or another, and we might not know. So when we pay attention to them, we'll be able to find out what it is and then deal with it. And it is good that we do that early enough. So joining us on today's edition of A Stitching Time to discuss this issue is a distinguished optometrist with extensive experience in eye care. She will help us understand how common vision issues can affect a child's learning and what can be done to address the Stella Okolo. She is the medical director, Batia Eye Care and Optical Services Limited. We're glad to welcome you, Doctor.
Thank you, Precious, for having me.
Okay, today we are focusing on the issue of the problems of the eye as it affects the children. But then we never knew, or a lot of persons never knew, that children can have poor vision. Can you let us into that?
Okay, thank you once again, Precious. Children can actually have poor vision. In fact, it's very common.
In children?
Yes, it's very common in children. And a lot of sensitizations has been made by a lot of bodies, health bodies and all that. But I think we still need to emphasize on it and draw the attention of parents, guardians, and even educators and people that come around children to watch out for the indicators that a child can present with poor vision.
Okay, thank you very much. So, talking about that, can you tell us what are the common causes of this poor vision in children?
Okay, I'm going to highlight and break this down in a way that the layman can understand. I'm not going to use medical jargons.
Okay.
Because we want to pass a very important information. So now children can present with, they can have what we call myopia. That's short-sightedness.
Okay.
So you find out where a child is trying to reach, the child tries to bring the object, the book, closer. Do you understand? So now you should be looking out and suspect that this child might be having myopia. That's short-sightedness. The child can also present with long-sightedness, which we call hyperopia. So most children can actually see things that are far or near. They cannot see things that are too close, but they can see the ones that are far.
That's a problem, though.
Yes, so they can present with myopia, hyperopia, or even astigmatism. So there is also the one we call lazy eye. You find that that's one of the eyes. We have 2 eyes. So now one of them can be lazy and the other one will be more active than the other. Now overshadowing the activeness of the other one. So, and most people, there are some children you look at and you find out that one of the eyes is deviating.
Okay.
So most people call it, there is a general term they call it that one of the eyes is looking the other way around. So yeah, those children like that can also have poor vision. And there are also children that have albinos. Most albino children can also have poor vision. So you were asking the causes. There are a lot of causes. Now I'm going to point out a genetic cause. So most of these children can actually present with poor vision because it's in their gene. They inherited it from either of their parents or grandparents, or is in their gene. So, and again, is lifestyle. Like during this holiday, you find out that so many children now, the in thing now is for them to be handling gadgets. You know, in fact they use it to do like it's now, for most people now use it as trying to make their children feel belonged, and then not knowing that directly or indirectly it could affect the child's vision. And when this child's vision is affected, definitely it's going to affect this child's academic performance. Because in a class or in a situation where this child finds it very difficult to read what is written on the board, the child, in fact, there are cases where the child will say they can't see the teacher's handwriting. So you find out that every other child might be seeing the teacher's handwriting, but this particular child that has poor vision finds it very difficult to see what is written. And then you also find out that another cause is children that don't read in a well illuminated environment. They can have poor vision as well, because they are straining their eyes to see it. They are stressing the eyes. The eye muscles are being stressed to see it, and it can bring up a whole lot of things: headache, severe headache, so many things. And the parents will be busy treating malaria and typhoid, not knowing, ignorantly treating malaria and typhoid, not knowing that this child is having issues of poor vision. And then another thing I want to draw to your attention, or to everybody's attention, is when you find out that a particular child or your children, they are not performing very well in school, have you checked their eye? Have you checked their vision status to actually know if this, in fact, in practice, you find out that most children can't even see, they copy from their classmates
because they cannot see
the board. And you know, ignorantly, the teacher might be scolding at the child. Why are you copying from your classmate? Why are you
without knowing that the child is having some issues?
And guess what? Most of these children feel that the way they are seeing is actually how every normal child is seeing, until they visit an eye hospital and an intervention is being made appropriately. That's when some of them will scream, "Hey, I can see it now." Do you understand? So these are the things we need to
look out for.
Yes.
Oh wow. I'm just hoping that parents and caregivers are actually listening, so that they take proactive measures, because just like you said, a lot of children might be going through a lot without them knowing.
Sure.
And you made mention of focusing on the screen, whether it's on the television or the phone, for a long time, that it can actually affect the eyes.
Yeah,
whether it is for a child or an adult.
Okay, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, there is actually there is actually a specific required time a child is supposed to be exposed to digital gadgets. So when I talk of digital gadgets, I mean even video games, television,
phones,
the tablets, So, but parents are too busy that once they just give their child the phone, please, this child will give me space.
Whatever they are doing.
Beautiful. So now, for a child that is under 2 years old, you're not supposed to expose this child to digital gadgets for now. And when a child is being exposed to digital gadgets for a long time, it also affects their ability of the structures of their eyes to develop expansively.
Because they are still developing.
Yes. So fixing your eyes on a gadget, the child will be fixing their eyes for a long time. You find that some children even use this the phone, their parents' phone, for more than 3 hours. They are not doing. Do you know that outdoor play helps these children's eye structures to develop properly?
Okay.
There is even a research going on that there is an establishment that children that are exposed more to outdoor, it reduces the onset of myopia.
I see.
Yes.
So it's actually advisable that once in a while you bring out the children.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful.
For them to see.
Yes. You know, those natural games, you know, they are trying to play with their toys outdoors. The beautiful sun, you know, it gets to them and all that. And why some parents will be thinking it's dirty is not knowing that indirectly
It's part of their development.
beautiful, it's part of their development. Their cognitive motors are working, everything. But when they are using these digital gadgets, it emits what we call blue rays. So these ultraviolet rays affects the eyes. Now, I won't really say it makes the child to be susceptible to blindness or anything, but you know, it can lead to what we call computer vision syndrome. Now, let me break it down. As I promised you, I'm not going to make it difficult.
Don't use medical terms.
Beautiful.
Just
So
use
now
terms so we can understand.
Yes. So the symptoms I advise people to be looking out for. Symptoms of their child's eye becomes a bit weak. The child will even have difficulty to sleep, and the child might have what we call dry eye, because there is a consistent focus on this digital gadget that this child is not even blinking. You can imagine where they're watching their favorite cartoon. So the child is not blinking, the eyes are not moisturized. The child can start, you know, scratching their eyes and complaining that their eyes they are being irritated. Their eyes are, you know, my eye is scratching me. Or you just see a child just squeezing their eyes. You know, these are things you have to look out for. It could be because of the prolonged exposure to digital gadgets. Again, is headache.
Okay.
Yes, because mind you that most of these digital gadgets, they don't have screen guards, things that protect this, that block these UV rays from getting into the eyes. And then now, in a situation where this child is always using digital gadgets, and then they even use it in a dim illuminated environment, that is even the worst. Because when they're using digital gadgets in a bright illuminated place, you see the ultraviolet rays of light emitted from those digital gadgets are being spread out. It's not going
directly to
beautiful because the cornea attracts the light. Do you understand? So these are the things parents should. Now, for a child, I've mentioned of a child less than 2 years not supposed to use digital gadgets. Now, 2 years and above till probably 5 years, it's not supposed to be more than 2 hours or even an hour. Just use it, time them, and you give them instruction. You're going to use this for 1 hour, and after that is a deal. I'm going to collect these tablets from you, unless next time I'm not going to give it back to you.
And they will comply.
And they will comply because it's a deal. So now from 5 years, 17 years upwards, they can use it up to 2-3 hours or sparingly. Now let me draw your attention that because of invention of a lot of things that are not, most teachers now give children research and homeworks.
And they have to make use of the phone.
Beautiful. They really have to make use of this phone. Now, in situations like that, they also need to, this is where educators should come in. They also need to limit the number of the homeworks they give these children to source for in the internet. So they can even look for, it's not my field, I'm not an educationist, but I'm trying to draw their attention to this fact that most of these homeworks, they take very long period of time. In fact, even parents are involved.
Yeah.
Everybody, there is a research, we need to get this done. So these are unavoidable things that these children use their digital gadgets to do. So, and what we are trying to say here in essence is that these digital gadgets, there should be a restriction to using it. It's not for flex. It's not supposed to be for show up. Now, there are also educational things they learn from it, but there still needs to be an enhancement of a physical way these children can get these things done and reduce the exposure to blue rays of light.
Okay. Yeah. Earlier you said that you can have a deal with your children about how long they can stay focused on the screen. Like, if you do for 1 hour at a stretch, or like 2 hours, is it possible that you can break it down? Maybe like if it is 1 hour, is it possible that it can be broken down to maybe say 20 minutes, you look away? Because you already said
Yes.
that it is not advisable to focus on the screen for a very long time.
Yes.
That affects the eye. Like how many minutes will it be that you call their attention to look away?
Okay, there is a rule we call the 20-20-20 rule. So it simply means that when you use your digital gadget for, so the 20-20-20 rule, when you use a digital gadget for about 20 minutes, it's expected that you look at something that is 20 meters away for 20 seconds. Okay. Then you go back to it.
Okay, that's the 20-20-20
That's
rule.
the 20-20-20 rule. So it's just a hack. You must not follow the 20-20-20. It simply means that, hey, you're not supposed to use this for a long time without blinking.
Yeah.
Try and look around. It gets your eyes moisturized and your eye muscles to, they relax a little, and then you continue, because it's not going to be so easy to ask them not to use this.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. So can we talk about some of the early interventions for addressing the vision problems in children?
Okay.
Because we need to get that as early as possible. They do say if you're able to detect a problem earlier, the treatment becomes a lot easier. So.
Okay. Yes, there are a lot of early intervention. First of all, it's expected that a child checks their first eye examination. Apart from the doctor checking the normal structures of the eye when the child has been given birth to. From 6 months, the child can also go for an eye check. So there are different levels of vision that is expected for every child depending on their age, and there should be a progression. Now when a child goes for eye examination, maybe in the first 6 months of life, then the next 1 year you can take your child back, because the doctor is trying to measure the progression. Now you don't expect a child of 2 years to be seeing the 20/20 vision of an adult. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now, and there are different visual acuity testing equipments that is supposed to be used to check every child depending on their age. There is even gadgets for color vision, because there are some children that cannot see specific colors, and their teacher will be busy flogging them. So you can't see this red. You cannot see this red. Come on, red color. You don't know red color. No.
The red color that everybody knows, and you don't know.
So
that's knowing that there is a problem.
There is a problem somewhere. So now the thing there is, parents are not supposed to wait for them to be super sure that this child is not seeing before they take the child.
It should be normal, regular,
beautiful
routine.
It should be normal. It should be a routine. So it should be a routine. We call it back to school eye examination.
Okay.
In civilized countries, they do it. In fact, the ministries of education, they are supposed to look into this too. That all schools, public schools, private schools, every institution is supposed to make it mandatory that part of the medical examination that is supposed to be done for a child, eye check should be there. It should be paramount. Eye check should be there. So that's when you monitor to know if this child's vision is according to his or her age. And then in a situation where you find out that this child cannot see, you can even write to the school or to the teacher, please, this child cannot see from the distance. But this child is always staying in front. It does not matter. The question is, what is the distance from where the child is sitting to the board? That is what you should be looking out for.
Yeah.
Not this child is in the front. No, the question is, what is the distance? How well illuminated is the classroom? There are some schools you go into. This is where the public health should also come into play. These schools, some of them don't have, their classrooms are dark. They are just dark. I don't know. Not well illuminated. The illumination is very, very poor. So these are the standards that should be checked. There should be proper ventilation. There should be good illumination so that this child will be able to see. Now, if it's a child that has issue that cannot see from where you called your front row, the teacher should be trained to accommodate this child. bring this child very close as possible, and help this child. There are some classrooms that has the sun rays just goes to the board, and you find out that the child will be forced to, because of the position of the building of the school. So each time the sun rays just flashes on the board, and it will be emitting rays of light that affects the child's eyes. Do you understand? Then the other one is, if you know that, I advise that if you cannot avoid exposing your child to digital gadgets, you can get a glasses. You asked me of intervention. We call it blue coat photochromic glasses. So these blue coat photochromic glasses,
What does it mean in layman's terms?
it means that it's a kind of special glasses that absorbs ultraviolet rays of light that is emitted from digital gadgets.
You're still talking in medical
The-
jargon.
I'm trying my best.
Oh,
I'm trying my best.
Okay.
Do you understand? So it breaks it down. So instead of the blue rays that is emitted from these digital gadgets to get directly into the cornea, to the eyes, it absorbs it and shifts it away.
Okay.
Yes.
I see.
So the child must not have an eye problem before you give this child a blue coat photochromic glasses, because this child always uses digital gadgets. So you can just give it to this child. Whenever you want to use this, you put it on.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So when there is this problem, this eye problem, and it's not treated after a long time, when the child grows up, maybe if it goes undetected, the parents, they don't do anything about it, and the child grows up with it and is still schooling and all that. Apart from not seeing, just like you've explained,
Yes.
are there other areas that it will affect the child?
Okay, now there, when we say poor vision, a lot of things, like I mentioned, can cause poor vision. Do you know that simple training in a particular subject like home economics? I've had a case where this child was playing, the usual matching they do with the spoke. Mistakenly, it poked a child's eye.
Ooh.
And the parents of this child didn't know that this child had an accident in school. And you know that a lot of people don't know that their child is actually seeing with one eye until something happens. So along the line, after like 2 months, the mother of this child noticed that one of the eye is reflecting a whitish stuff. And by the time they brought the child, it was already a cataract induced trauma.
Because it was not treated at the time.
They didn't know about it. So
Oh, wow.
the teachers, the educators, they should also, when you give children, yes, it's good to learn skills, but they have to be under supervision.
Yeah.
They have to be under supervision. So you have to monitor this. Do you understand? So what we are trying to say in essence is that parents, guidance, teachers, they should not wait until there is a problem, because when they get old, if a child has a refractive error and is not being handled, probably the child needs glasses, and the glasses was not being recommended and given to this child when it was meant to be given. The child can develop amblyopia in a situation where even when they get old and you refract them and give them glasses, they won't be able to see. Even with the glasses, they won't see. And again, I want to point out something else. Talking about intervention, the environmental factor has to come to play. There are situations where you give a child glasses, a corrective glasses, and the people living with the child will be abusing this child. Is it every time that you wear these glasses? Are you not seeing this needle here? Look at you, double eye, So it can give this child, apart from not seeing, it can affect the developmental, the development of this child. It can even give this child a stigma. There are children you give glasses, when they go to school, they don't wear it, they just drop it. What is your reason? They say I look like tortoise. So this is where teachers and everybody should, So another thing is, over the years I've noticed that it's usually most teachers that find out that a child is not seeing well.
Okay, in that case, there is need for good relationship between the teachers and the parents.
Of course.
So that they can easily report.
Yes, so that they can easily report. There should be a very good, the teachers, the educators, they need to also, I'm not trying to leave the burden from parents, because when you find out that your child finds it difficult to see the TV unless they go very close. When you find out that, you need to take your child to the hospital. But then when you tell some of them, they'll say God forbid. So the religious sector, they should also help with this, because when you tell them and they will now say God forbid, it's not my portion. So there should be more enlightenment in schools, in churches, so that they will understand that even prayer without work is dead.
It's nothing. Okay, so we are in the digital world.
Yeah.
Is there any advancement in the digital in the you
Yeah.
made mention of
The blue code photochromic
Okay,
lenses,
okay,
then the
okay.
lifestyle change,
Yeah,
environmental.
Okay, so for parents who might be concerned about maybe if even when they've discovered that there is an issue, and they are just concerned about the cost of taking care of the eye check or eye care of this child, what do you have to say to such parents?
Okay.
Because they'll be wondering, I can't take it, no worry. The doctor achieve the money with you and all that. So
Okay, the last time I checked, we have government hospitals, we have primary health centers, and we also have very affordable eye centers. You can't stay in your home and know what it will cost. So it depends on, and that's why I said even schools should bring this up. There are schools that if you don't do medical check, you can't enroll your child into their school. So if they include eye check into it, and they go talk about it with eye health centers and all that, it will also bring down the price to something that is minimal.
okay.
Do you understand? But in a situation where you cannot afford private hospitals, we have health centers and government. They can't chase you away. They will always, at least you know what is. You check your child's vision, and they will give you the necessary information that you know as regards your child. So looking at it from your house, you won't really know if it's. I don't think it's something that is as expensive as people think it is. It is not. It's not. So the main thing is every other child should have their eyes checked at least once a year.
Okay, at
Yes.
least once a year.
At least once a year.
As in, whether or not your child is having any eye
Beautiful.
issue.
Yes.
They
at
should do
least
that.
once a year.
Okay, so coming to you now, the professionals. How do you work with other professionals to ensure a holistic approach to addressing these vision problems in children?
Okay, like I said before, but this time around, I'm going to list. There are a lot. The health professionals have always worked hand in hand in cases like this. The ophthalmologists, the optometrists, the educationists, even the psychologists, the therapists, they come into play. So it's a joint, because when a doctor keeps treating malaria and typhoid, what they do most of the time is they will just say, this child, I've treated you malaria, please just go and meet an eye doctor.
Let's find out if
Beautiful.
there is an issue.
And then sometimes they'll say, go to your laboratory scientist, go and run this test, go and do this. So let's find out what is going on. So it has always been ongoing. It's not an individual thing where this career or this professional will say, it must just be only me. No. If there is no joint effort, we won't achieve what we want.
That's right.
And then the educationist. Now, most of them know about this. So they've started inculcating it into their prerequisite form before you enroll your child. They will ask the child to go and check for eye. It doesn't mean that if your child is not seeing very well, that the child will not be enrolled. No. It simply means that this child will be specially attended to. So whatever activity they are doing, they will know that this child has low vision and will need aid. There are also low vision aids for children that they can also use, and they will see just the way every other child is seeing. But the main thing is, let people take it as part of their responsibility to run an eye examination for their children at least once or twice in a year.
Can a child be born with an eye defect?
Of course, yes. There are a lot of that. There are some children that can be born with cataract. Some children are born with glaucoma.
Whoa.
Yes, there are some children that are born with the one people call we call it phoria. There are children that are born with one of the eyes will be looking the other side. Do you understand? These are things that has to be in a lot of things. A child can even born with some bacterial infections that if it's not well handled, like ophthalmia if it's not well handled, it can it can cause a lifetime effect on the child's eye. And there are some children that are born, they don't see. It could be a congenital problem.
Okay.
A lot of things can happen. That's why you don't just give birth and carry on. Let them check everything. And then after 6 months, you check again.
And those child that have some problems when they are born, they can be corrected.
Some of them can be corrected. Doctors are not, they can't, there are cases that cannot be corrected. They just manage it.
Oh, okay.
It depends on what
the particular issue.
Yes. But you can't know if you don't check.
That's right.
You can't know if you don't check. So the main thing there is for parents to, especially this holiday, they should be observant. Watch your child. The child is always with you now. Watch your child. Ask your child's teacher. I hope he's doing. You look at the child's assessment. Does this child have any complaint? You can even ask your child. Bring two children. You can sometimes you just tell your child to close one eye. You could, even as adults, you can just cover one eye.
Examination yourself.
Because some people don't even know. It's not that you're doing the general examination, but do you know that some people walk into the clinic and they are not even aware that they've been using one eye all this while. Until you ask them, oh, cover one eye. Okay, you now or tell them occlude one eye. They will occlude one eye. They say, I'm seeing it. You know, say occlude the other. Say, what happened? But I'm seeing it now. Because the both eyes are open, they assume that all is well.
All is well.
So, but when the child covers one eye, well, you just use it to actually have an insight, and then you just take to the child to the eye specialist that is near you. It's that easy.
Okay, so apart from what the parents need to do for these children, and also the teachers what they need to do, and the educators, so is there any other way that other people can come in, say other stakeholders, governments that can come into this particular matter?
Okay, like I said, we have the last time I checked, I know we have primary eye health centers, and being managed by the government. So, and it's expected that there should be doctors, eye specialists, eye doctors in each of the health centers. And I know that they are doing all of this, but it's just for people to go.
Okay.
But if there are if each of the facility is lacking anything, the head of eye unit there can raise an alarm and tell the government, this is what we need to carry out our works effectively, so that people won't have excuse not to. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But then, if it must not be government hospital, any standard eye clinic you see, and people should know the difference between eye hospital, eye care centers, and quacks. It's not the same thing with people that will just give you glasses on the roadside and ask you, you now say Dr. Chisom says you can check your eyes. But people now ask you, are you seeing? I'm seeing. That's not what we mean. The child should be properly checked in a standard eye clinic. You make sure that the child is going to a registered eye clinic, and then they check everything. And again, is what people don't do. I want them to be doing is when you visit an eye hospital or any hospital, ask questions. What is the state of my child's vision? What is it? This one you checked, what is it called? What did you get? They will tell you, what does it mean? You need to be carried along. If that doctor is not carrying you along, it means that your visit there doesn't make sense. There is nothing, you don't even know what you went for.
What are you now?
What are you now?
Okay, so because of want of time, this is where we will draw the curtain on today's edition. We really appreciate you so much for being here today and for educating us, especially as it concerns our children. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so our special guest today has been Dr. Chisom Stella Okolo. She is the Medical Director, Batia Eye Care and Optical Services Limited. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Precious.
I am sure that you've heard it all from her today, that there is need for us to pay good attention, very good attention to what our children do. That way we will discover ways we can help them in case they are lagging behind in any way. When we do all of this, especially as it concerns their eyes, it will help them to succeed in their academics and even other activities apart from what they do in school, even at home and other places. So let's take action today and help the leaders of tomorrow to succeed. And this is where we call it a day on today's edition of the program. It's Teaching Time, coming to you from Sunrise FM 96.1. My name is Precious Chwekezi. Don't forget that your life is precious and our children are so precious. Let's protect them today.